And this is the thing that makes MMA great and terrible sometimes, is the fact that you just don't know what's going to happen. You don't know how guys are going to fight.
40.
But it's about having to come find it. So even though he's still in and out, he's still finding me as we're moving. And then we're finding that big power on the next bang here and getting in.
And when you're connecting, if your feet are on the ground, you're going to have a lot more power. If your feet are always moving, you're landing, you're going to have a little bit less power. Boom, I'm hitting kicks, right? Next time he's in a cover, right? So it's your boom, boom, getting back. Right? Like I really like when Khalil's training with Calavita and he's doing all that Bosu ball stuff. That's going to teach you that proprioception strength.
So if anybody didn't expect this for the BMF, for the BMF title, then you're watching the wrong sport. You're watching the wrong two guys
100%.
fight. We know that Max is a great boxer. We know that Oliveira is a great grappler. How could you not expect it to go this way?
Conor McGregor belong in the White House card. Yes
No.
or no?
Yes.
No, are you out of your
Yes.
mind? That's the Wagyu. What's going on, guys? My name is Degidio, and we are back with another episode of the Jaxxon podcast recap. We are going through the fights. We're going to ask some detailed questions. We have some special guests. A lot's going on in the MMA world. The White House card was released. Khamzat Chimaev and Khalil Rountree have turned into full-blown wolves. They're training 3 times a day. We got one of Supercross's finest, Jett Lawrence, in the house. Yo! We got some athletes. He's low-key. That's crazy work to make fun of him like that. That's crazy. Well, low-key, we've had Jett Lawrence in the entire Khamzat Chimaev camp. He's out here at Jaxxon Media House doing rehab and recovery, getting ready to come back to outdoors. For those of you that watch the Jaxxon Sports Show, you can see a whole kind of behind the scenes on this guy and what he's doing to get back in shape. We got the one and only, the Bandwave's greatest of all time, ladies and gentlemen, Dillashaw. And he's got Wild Society. What do you call this? What do you call this?
That's ready to drink. Protein
It's the elixir of life. It's one of the greatest things I've ever touched my tongue with, besides maybe 2 other things. This is top 3. And it's unbelievable. First of all, it's in a can.
Yeah.
What do you call this type of material?
I don't drink out of plastic.
What is this material called?
Aluminum.
I thought it was meteorite. I've been telling everybody it's meteorite. Okay. And then second of all, it's filled with some sort of liquid. What is that?
It's got 20 grams of whey protein isolate. It's got 385 milligrams of electrolytes.
Unbelievable.
Only 100 calories.
So
no
it's like a
sugar.
Gatorade and a protein shake mixed together.
Exactly.
And then I drink it. Let me try it. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Unbelievable.
10 out of 10.
Unbelievable. And it's smooth, yet refreshing, but at the same time, it's hydrating.
Yeah.
So when you get all 3 together, it's
I
unbelievable.
wanted something I could drink while I was working out. Like I don't want my son walking around with Gatorade. I want him to have something more like this in his hand.
TJ Brecka, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's
TJ
do it.
Brecka.
Let's hear it for DJ Brecka.
And then we got the one and only Khalil Rountree's head coach and a guy who's literally coach of the year, belt after belt, an amazing facility in Las Vegas. He coaches nothing but world champions, and he's doing it from the ground up. I think he has over 350 fighters that train with him weekly. Ladies and gentlemen, John Wood! All right, we're going to jump into this, the most exciting UFC card of the year so far. We're going to jump right into this, and we got to kick this off with one of our very own. So everybody who knows RoboCop knows that this guy literally should be in the heavyweight division. He looks like he's made out of granite.
Yeah.
He's a complete giant. He moves around. His head doesn't move. He's got some Yoel Romero to him. Like his body moves, but his head doesn't. His hands are long, and he's just a brute. They've had some history. And, we saw a lot going on in this fight. I'm going to play it right now for you. But for those of you guys that were starting and watching the fight, TJ, you kind of want to break us off on this?
Yeah, I thought Bruno came out and looked great. I love the way that he was shifting his stance. His feints were great. He was in his face. He looked smooth. I was like, oh, he's coming out on fire. He looked great until he didn't, right? He made a mistake and he switched his stance and he stayed in the firing lane of RoboCop, right? When you're doing those shifting and you're switching your stance, you got to be really like paying attention to where your defense is at. He comes out, it lands a right hand right off the rip. He's coming out, he's shifting stances, but he turns into southpaw when he's on the inside of that foot, which it only took 1 punch for RoboCop to finish the fight.
I mean, he just had that right hand missile that detonated on this man's chin, and it seemed like he was very stiff.
See how he switched and just like relaxed right in the firing lane, right?
So explain that to me, because it seems like he's so stiff. That's the point. Coach, maybe you want to highlight that as well?
Well, like TJ was saying, one thing I do all the time is if we're fighting somebody who switches a lot. Are they switching for a purpose? Are they just switching to switch? So one thing we do a lot is when someone switches is attack right away. If they're not in position or they're not doing something with it, if they're not switching behind something or making it at least a little bit tricky, then that's where you get going. And that's exactly what happened. He kind of fell asleep, stepped forward, and then boom. And that's all that guy.
Can you show the
Well,
audience real
thanks.
quick how you attack when someone's switching and kind of just break it down to them? Because you're so good on your feet. I think people would love to see that.
It more just comes down to talking about like your defense changes when you switch stance, right? Like I know that this is your power, your kicks and your right hands, this is all your power, right? So when I'm in this orthodox stance, I know where I got to cover, I know where I'm circled to stay outside of you. And if I'm just going to switch my stance and stay in that firing lane, now you can loop it around. And also, when you switch your stance, your defense changes, right? So when I switch, I want to switch outside your foot, and I'm going to do it for a purpose. I'm either going to hit my switch cross, I'm going to throw a switch cross hook to where I'm lining up, and now I have the firing lane. Right?
How important is that foot being outside of my lead foot?
It's real important because now your power's got to travel so far.
Got
right?
it.
And I'm going to beat you on the inside if we're on the race.
Got it.
Right? Mine's
And then-
direct. Right?
Got it.
But if he switched here, now look how much farther my power's got to go. Yeah, obviously I got my right hooks and like that, but you're in line right now for your power.
And then what about when I switch, how you attack off that jump?
He's talking about when you switch.
Yeah.
If the guy's just switching to switch,
Yeah.
as soon as he switches, it's just bang.
Oh, wow.
Catch, because his defense is going to be not as quick, right?
Well, and that's something that TJ always did really good when you switch stances, is masking it behind something,
Yeah.
throwing punches, movement, not just switching and stepping forward, because that's where you can catch guys sleeping a lot.
Is there someone in the division right now, TJ, that you see in the bantamweight division that really capitalizes on when people switch and switches with a purpose when you see him fight?
Sandhagen. Sandhagen does a really good job of switching up his stance and doing it for a purpose and slapping hooks and staying outside the shoulders, right? Like really paying attention to where your feet are when you're switching your stance. I think Sandhagen does a really good job of it.
Next on the fight card, because we're gonna run through these fights and then we're gonna hop in the cage, and that's where people have been loving the breakdowns you guys have been giving us. So the next fight we have Drew Dober versus Michael Johnson. I mean, Johnson was for sure quicker in the first 2 rounds and landing kind of like the better shots as they stood there. They kind of traded for the first full 5 minutes, and then in the second, Dober just kind of closed the distance and pressured more. What did you see from this
I think
fight?
Johnson's the only guy to get faster with age. Like his last fight too. His last fight, he looked super fast and great, and he looks really fast. And here, that inside leg kick that he's landing with the jab at the same time was on point. He looked really, really fast. Dober just throws power. Dober's got some serious power. I've trained with him. He's trains his ass off, and he's very technically savvy. But he's just got a lot more power. Look how look how thick his legs are.
When you talk about training, TJ, I know a lot of people talk about your power, like your knockout power. You got to just kind of have it. It's hard to train that. I mean, and coach, I want to ask you this as well, since you've trained so many guys in so many versatile styles. How important is it to train specifically to build knockout power? Is that a thing?
You can definitely build it for sure. And it's about your feet being put into the ground at the same time. When you're connecting, if your feet are on the ground, you're going to have a lot more power. If your feet are always moving, you're landing, you're going to have a little bit less power. You can definitely train rotational strength, but it's all going to come down to you like putting your feet on the ground, right? Like I really like when Khalil's training with Calavita and he's doing all that Bosu ball stuff. That's going to teach you that proprioception strength. Like
What a topic, man.
yeah.
What a topic. Yeah.
That's the crazy thing is with MMA is in boxing, you get to sit down a lot in the pocket. So the power's there a lot more. Training guys how to connect their feet while they're moving and doing all this crazy shit that we do in MMA, it's definitely an art form.
TJ, I think you brought up a very sensitive subject, not only to myself, but to Khalil Rountree, and maybe it hits home for you. Recently, there was a video with someone deciding to call out Sam Calavita's training.
I think I've seen this.
Yeah, and then we had some old physical trainer guy who used to be here who said, injuries coming, and it just things spiraled out of control. And I don't think people put appreciation on. I'm going to let Khalil kind of break this down, but the fact that you're telling someone this is not what they did to become a champion, this is what they don't do to become an athlete, like, dude, the facts are the facts. If you are at the highest level training the highest athletes for years, you're obviously doing something right. Khalil, what's your opinion on Sam Calavita in that video?
I would say that there's a lot of newborn Instagram guru coaches nowadays, and it's pissing me the hell off.
Yeah.
So yes, this guy pops off, and he ends up saying that all of us as athletes are brainwashed because we're on a Bosu ball doing certain things.
Yeah.
And his point was, this does not make you a championship level fighter.
Yeah.
And then he goes off to say that the training is complete bullshit.
Yeah.
So there's a couple things here. For one, what we're doing is different from what the other guy's doing, but that guy has 0 champions under his belt, and 0 champions that are coming to him asking him for his help. Whether he built them, that's another thing he tried to say, is that that Calavita inherits his athletes. Cool, they go to him to get that extra edge.
And I moved my whole life down here,
and
I
people
realized
have
how
moved
much
their
better
whole
he
lives
made me
to get this type of training. So this guy, thinking that he's some professional now, is kind of downing the training that we're doing and calling us idiots and brainwashed. It's just ridiculous. But
more power to him. Let him do his power cleans and all
100%. Yeah, and granted, we do those things.
Exactly.
We did.
Is this actually a somebody who said this stuff?
No, it's no.
This is like
absolutely
a local
not. But
trainer.
But nowadays,
also
people are
had a
listening
friend that
to
used
these
be here.
influences, right?
TikTok,
Nowadays, if you have an Instagram account, there are people listening to this stuff and him dogging us as athletes. So,
You took it personal when
of
he started
course.
talking about Sam Calavita.
well, here's the thing, man. Like, I just want to make a point. That's maybe not the training that made us world champions, but when we understand that explosive power, punching power, all that stuff, we've built the strength, but now we're able to maintain it and transfer weight differently. And it's like you have all this power, but what can you do with it? Can you only throw a straight punch with it? Can you throw something over your head while standing on a medicine ball with it? Can you do it blindfolded? Who knows? But there's nothing wrong with exploring those areas to become better, to use your power better. But whatever.
And TJ,
there's so much uncontrolled movement in an MMA fight, and footwork and being out of position, someone pushing on you, pulling on you. And when you're on that Bosu ball and Sam's throwing an 80-pound medicine ball at you, you have to get good at distributing your feet and where you're going to plant, how I'm going to catch it. I'm engaging my core. The further he throws it away, the harder it is. And I have to generate all that force back without falling off the Bosu ball. So now I can generate power while I'm moving. I can hit a shake step, come back with power, right? So it's like...
And focus, because if you drop the ball, let's say you're on the Bosu ball and Sam throws it to you 8 times, and you're supposed to catch it 8 times. That takes a lot of focus too. On top of, I've got to balance, I've got to do all this. So there are so many things that come into it, and so many people that are quick to see things and just shit on it, or quick to talk their mouth, and because they're behind their phone, they're not afraid to get punched for coming out of pocket.
The crazy thing, like he was saying, there's so much different shit that people do not realize in MMA. The footwork, the movement, the straight, just from positions that you would never think you'd have to use. So like getting unconventional with this stuff, and we're still in the baby, infancy stages of this sport. People are figuring it out. What this is going to look like in 10 years, the training is going to be completely crazy. So you got to do different things than, in this sport for sure.
Jett, you've been watching the Khamzat Chimaev camp for the last 2 months. You're considered like the Michael Jordan of your sport, one of the youngest to ever be undefeated in a season, and you've done things on a bike no one's ever done. Can you kind of walk me through any similarities you see in Supercross training off a bike, how they've been training out of the cage, especially with the Khamzat camp with Khalil as well?
I mean, I've just been more so amazed watching these guys at work, especially like Khalil. Everything we go through, obviously they go through with training. Like he'll tell me certain things and like what he's gonna do, and I can see it. And I've just been happy learning and just kind of watching what they do. And I think the biggest thing is they don't leave any stone unturned. Like even on the topic of their training, like that certain exercise they're doing might not help them throw a better punch or a jab or a hook, but that there is working so many more smaller muscles in your body that can help that main muscle work better, So, I mean, I'm doing the same thing with my racing. You see, if anyone's seen my gym program,
it looks like you're not doing anything. I make fun of him.
I'm doing
TJ, I'm clowning this guy.
Yeah.
I'm like, is this even what he's got? Bands, he's got a little balloon ball. I'm like, this is something Luke Rockhold would do when girls are here.
Bear's like, I hate this game.
Yeah, I'm like, this is horrible.
But all these things equal to something. You're making your body, you're trying to make your body as equal as possible. If you have one side thing that's just way stronger than the other, then it's not going to work efficiently. So I'm trying to work as efficient as I can, and these exercises help me kind of be able to do that, and that's what I've been learning from watching Khalil, Khamzat, Yusuf, Wolverine. Watching those guys.
You watch the entire camp from inside out. And I think one thing cool that TJ always brings up is you talk about the training outside of the cage, how important it is, your cardio, you're big on your nutrition, you're big on all these things outside of the cage. And we see a lot of training footage and we see a lot of coaches who are constantly showing the content inside the cage. So you kind of always give us a different perspective, because I do believe, like, you know, champions are made outside the cage as well. I think it's important. I mean, we see this guy's cardio going through the roof now. He's 3 weeks in, and the rounds he's doing with Hamzat are getting better and better. And I'm sure as a coach, you understand the cardio of your fighters is needed, right? It's not always, you don't have the attention time to give to everybody. TJ, in this fight, before we move on to the next thing, can you kind of tell me where the gap was in Johnson's defense that allowed Dober to kind of throw that right down the middle?
It wasn't just a gap. It was that he did a really good job throwing this hook first to bat the hand down and come inside, right? Like Johnson was trying to throw a check hook and Dober just beat him down the middle. That first right hook came up short, but it's batting his guard down, which is going to open a hole for him to land his left cross, right? It was just he commits hard in that judgment. It was just a pinpoint accuracy. I mean, Johnson had great defense. His motion looked good. His speed was awesome. He just got caught by a great combo that Dober committed to fully. Look, so bats the hand down, boom, right on the button. And he's got both his feet coming in at the same time. His feet are set when he lands that left cross, and it was just pinpoint accuracy.
Yeah.
And Khalil, is there anything specifically that I've been watching you kind of do a bunch of different drills with Hamzat when it comes to kind of like throwing hands, and then kind of like the sparring you guys have been doing? But it seems like the way you guys have been throwing hands and what you guys have been doing without the pads too. Is there any similarities in kind of like the training with mitts and the training without mitts?
Yeah, there's similarities. I think the stuff that we're doing on mitts and that he's doing on mitts, we're now trying to implement some of those patterns against me, so that so that he's getting his feet used to moving and throwing punches from certain positions. So they go hand in hand. Everything is deliberate and on point.
Coach, before we jump into the Raul Rosas Jr. and Rob Font fight, how, I don't want to say identical, but how kind of similar are your trainings with how you hold pads for your fighters? Is everybody different? Or do you run them all through like your kind of combos? And
Everybody's different, so it depends. Like I have a blueprint and a framework of these are the things that are for sure going to work in MMA. The cage control, how we cut off, how we work a cage, that doesn't change. What these guys do, like said before, training Khalil is nothing like training Merab. Nothing, not even in the ballpark. We're a different sport. And so everybody's different, and you just kind of find what works for the athlete. Some guys are fast and explosive. Some guys are grinders. Some guys hit hard. Some their volume. So everybody you have to kind of work with to what the biggest thing is just figure out what they need and how to work with them. So everybody's a little bit different, man. It's always a challenging, fun puzzle to figure out as a
fight
coach.
to fight is different as well. Like how you're game planning. Like this is a perfect example for the we're about to watch.
Yep.
I wasn't a fan of Rob Font's stance, but he was game planning, so he trained differently.
Yeah, 100%. Every fight's different.
Yeah.
what did we think about kind of the jab and what he was trying to get off Rob Font? Obviously, he's very experienced.
Normally, Rob Font's got a great jab, but the way that he is right now, he wasn't able to use it to his ability because he's so hunkered over and so slow.
He changed it up too much.
Too much.
Too much.
Like, I'd rather use my footwork to avoid takedowns rather than hunker down that much. Yeah,
it's a perfect example of when you have a fighter who's really good at something. You said he's known for a great jab, and then you kind of take that away by over game planning for this for the fighter, and now you've kind of put yourself at a detriment where you've got to kind of, as a coach, for me at least, I try to find a way to make the fighter use what they use the best for that situation without changing it. You can't change it. You can't get rid of what got you to the big game. You just can't.
What about obviously we know how good a boxing Rob Font has and how he's able to live behind his hands. Do you feel that his boxing was better than Raul Rosas Jr.?
In this fight, he didn't get to show it because everything was so labored.
In general, do you think he has better boxing?
In general, yes. Yeah. He's definitely got better boxing, but he was so worried about the takedown that he couldn't use his boxing. Yes, be concerned of the takedown and work on it, work on your get-ups, work on your submissions, things like that. But you got to, like Coach is saying over here, you got to keep what got you there and keep throwing your hands and frustrating with that jab. You want to defend the takedown, put that jab in his fucking face. Jab the body, throw some body work so he can't get underneath you rather than you hunker down and now you're stuck in somewhere where I can shoot a shot on you and you're not going to move your leg out of the leg.
One mistake and you're done.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really seems like, just based off the approach of this fight, it seems like instead of takedown defense, I think they probably practiced and trained a lot of getting taken down. You know what I mean? Because you can see off his reactions, that single leg was working every time.
Yeah.
I think every time he took him down was with that single leg, the high crotch. And like Rob's reaction wasn't necessarily like sprawl and move. It was more like hold on to this guy and then they fall down. And now he's working jiu-jitsu. So it kind of reflects, I think, in the training that maybe they were just working like you're getting grappled and work on your grappling versus like move around and defend the takedown.
Yeah, when your foot's that planted in the ground, you're not going to be able to sprawl it and get it out of the way. It's
Yeah.
planted. It's stuck there.
Yeah,
All of
your
his
hips
weight
are already back.
All of his weight's over his front foot.
Yeah.
Like I can't move this foot. All my weight's on it, right? To where if I'm fighting more like this and I'm using my jab and he comes in, I can switch my stance. I can move my feet left and right.
100%.
If I'm here, like this thing is stuck in the ground. I might as well be in a fucking wrestling stance.
Yeah, there's a technique I want to show you after this in the cage. Something that I've been criticized for because I do like to do Muay Thai, and a lot of people they consider it like really upright and you know tall stance. And John and I a lot we work this thing where he kind of says like athletic Thai. So I'd like to show that with John later on as far as
Because
like
you have
what
like an
that
itch
means.
to you, like a tick. You like to bounce your front foot.
I have to because like a lot of me wants to be tall.
Why you laugh, coach?
A lot of me wants to be like
We've worked
tall
on it
and
for
like
years,
load the
yeah.
kicks. And then the other part of me is like hearing John in the back of my mind, like athletic Thai. So like
Yeah, there's
my
some-
bad habit is to
Yeah.
stand up straight.
Some say you have it because you have severe athletic feet. Like it's like a disease where your feet have fungus.
Yeah.
None of that is true, correct?
no, it's true. No, it's true.
Disease.
Yeah.
Right. So you're okay? Or
Yeah.
like, right.
No, yeah.
I'm just making sure because you're constantly doing this.
Yeah.
Like they
It's
call
my-
you stapler feet in the form.
It's my athlete's foot. It makes me tap to.
He's just constantly itching his foot.
Yeah, it's
actually.
constantly
That's it.
itching.
You
and-
figured it
yeah.
out. You figured it out this
there-
whole time.
There's something
But
going
that's all
on
we
there.
need to go.
Every time
Right.
his foot taps the ground, it's loaded to throw a kick, though, too. You don't know if he's throwing a kick or if he's just moving his foot.
Yeah, you
Is
don't know
that
if I'm
true? Are you
dancing
really
or throwing a
loading
foot.
up?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll have you test out a couple.
I've watched you for the last 2 weeks. I've seen enough of your damage. So is there anything we wanted to talk about besides the fact that Raul Ruiz Jr. gets the win again and kind of was able to take the back and do what he does best?
I mean, he didn't do it in an impressive fashion. He didn't gain any fans with the win.
Okay.
You know, like he didn't take advantage of taking Rob Font down. He just kind of locked his hands and stayed behind him the whole time, which was smart and safe. But if we're in the game of entertainment and gaining some fans, like be a little more ruthless on the ground, land some big ground and pound, go for submissions. Like Charles Oliveira, I enjoyed watching the fight because he was active. He was going for chokes. He was looking for things. Like this was just locking his hands and holding on.
On the next fight, Kyle, one of my favorite guys, he came on the pod. He's got amazing energy, amazing personality. And then RDR has been criticized about his cardio. He's been criticized about giving up at the stool and things with his health that we don't know. So we've seen a lot of kind of hype going into this fight. RDR, obviously, trying to get this win, and Kyle coming off that loss. But, for me, for example, winning every single round, kind of neutralizing RDR's grappling threat while landing cleaner strikes. I mean, it seemed like Kyle had a much more cleaner game, even though it looks like he took a lot more damage. You want to break this down, TJ?
I love the way that he came out nice and relaxed. People want to talk about the hands down. I like hands down. I'd fight with my hands all over the place sometimes because people can't see where the punches are coming from. You're loose. Your pinpoint accuracy, punches are coming from places you can't really see them at. I can see punches coming. And he knows that Ritter wants to take him down, right? So this is a perfect example of the last fight to this one. I like this defensive stance a lot better to defend a takedown than hunching over.
Is this zero respect for RDR as striking? Is that
No.
what he's showing?
No, I wouldn't say zero respect. I would say that he's using like Bobby Green. We just watched Bobby Green use it last
Incredible.
weekend. Same kind of thing, hands down, moving his head,
Bruce Lee-like.
carrying out, like
Incredible.
slipping and slipping crosses. Like
It's hard to be relaxed and loose when you have your hands up and tight. So it's like a whole different strategy. But I think just like TJ was saying, with Kyle's hands down like this, look at the amount of movement he's able to do with his feet. And because of, the takedown was there. So not that he doesn't respect RDR's striking. It's just that you kind of know when you're going up against a certain fighter what to expect. And we know that RDR's strengths are in his grappling. So you are a little bit safer to have your hands down in this situation, especially because you can move a lot more.
And what do we think about the overall performance, Coach? Did you like Kyle's overall
I
performance?
thought he looked great. I thought
Yeah.
he came out after, his last fight and really had something to prove, and he did. And damage aspect at the end of the fight, he was banged up, but there's some guys, man, that just cut easier than others, and there's some people that, clearly he won the fight. Clearly. Yeah. So, they always kind of judge the damage as the number one criteria, but what I think it was just he was in control of the entire fight. You're going to get hit. It's a fight. It's a fist fight. You're going to get cut. Things are going to happen. But I think he looked great. I thought he came out with a great game plan, and just really kind of took the Ritter in all areas, basically.
man, that jab, the body, the cross upstairs could have worked. It was working for him so well. It could have worked for him all night. He would jab the body and throw the cross upstairs, and it landed so many times.
He just couldn't figure it out. You know, DeRitter's, he's kind of one of those guys too that he needs you to make it an ugly fight. He needs you to come to him. And that's where I think, you know, Kyle really kept the range and made it hard for him. He's not a guy who's super comfortable on his feet, DeRitter, you know, and you can see that like the striking, there's a difference there. And so, you know, I think he did a great job of forcing him to be somewhere he didn't want to be.
Yeah.
What about the fact that, you know, RDR was supposed to have this incredible grappling and his game was kind of thrown off by Kyle not really letting him go to the floor?
Yeah, I mean, he does have great grappling. I think Kyle was just a lot stronger and faster, right? He looked a lot slower. A lot of grapplers do look a lot slower. Like they're not as explosive for whatever reason. I don't know if it's the way that they train or just genetically that's the way you're made up, but he looked a lot slower. And Kyle used a lot more power. And even when he got on top of him here and able to smash him a lot more, right? He's just got more size, more power, just a little bit more athletic, where Ritter's, you know, dirty and good grappling technique.
Khalil, anything you wanted to add with the kicking and the kind of the stand-up game of RDR and Kyle?
No, I think we pretty much covered the basis of this fight.
Yeah. I think going into this next fight, a lot of people were talking about the BMF was supposed to be, you know, this striking, brutal, just dramatic fight that everybody was hoping to get with one of the best UFC boxers we've ever seen, Max Holloway, and Charles Oliveira, which is the definition of aura. I mean, Charles Oliveira is 36 years old. Max Holloway is 34 years old. Both of these guys are just complete legends. Charles Oliveira has more finishes in the UFC than any other fighter. Max Holloway's been putting on fights for the ages for years. But I mean, you look at the grappling masterclass from Oliveira, you look at the way he kind of just reinvented himself as a complete fighter. You see everything he did and taking Max off his game completely. TJ, I'll start with you. What did you see from this? What did you like? What did you not like?
I was very surprised with how easy Oliveira was able to clinch him up and throw him around, just a lot stronger. They both used to be 45 pounders. They've gone to 55. I know Oliveira's been there longer, but watch, he just like tosses him, dude, and bear hugs him down.
Nothing.
And his grappling is awesome. This is going to be easier said than done. Something I would have liked to see Max do when he was in that body triangle on his back. He did a great job fighting the hands and not getting submitted, but he wasn't using his legs to get out of that body triangle. I really would have liked him to use his legs to loosen that body triangle to get his back flat and create a little bit more of a scramble. But like I said, easier said than done. You're going against one of the greatest jiu-jitsu guys in the UFC ever.
Coach, what did you see from this fight that you liked, that you didn't like?
I mean, Oliveira looked great. Like, you know, each time he has something, you know, comes off a bad, you know, loss, whatever, and comes back and just always seems to get better. And both these guys, you know, and the one thing I would say, just like that, we're seeing him just pick him up. I think that Max, you know, is a big guy, but I think the area, I don't know that he has the strength at 55 that he does at 45. It just doesn't seem when the guy, when he fought Poirier and he fought, you know, Oliveira here, it just feels like the guys that are willing to get physical with him, they out physical him pretty bad, you know. So I don't know. And he looked pretty big. He looked like he put some muscle on for this fight, you know. And I'm a huge, Max is one of my favorite fighters. I love watching him fight. It just sucks, you know, watching him get handled like that. But, you know, Oliveira is also a phenomenal fighter. And he's just a guy, I think he just keeps getting better. You know, Oliveira is one of those guys that you just never know what the ceiling is going to be with him. But I really just feel like the strength differential, I thought Max would do a little bit better at defending and maybe getting up, but you get Oliveira on a body triangle and there's not many people that have ever gotten out of that. So it is what it is. But I just feel like that's the one thing with Max is I think he's too small for 45.
Too small for 55.
You know, too big for 55. Or too big for 45, too small for 55. Size-wise, maybe it's just the strength. It just doesn't seem to be there with it.
But I mean, seeing the scorecard, when you go back and you look at it, I mean, a complete domination. Were we expecting that type of fight?
No,
not at all, right?
No, I you know, and this is the thing that makes MMA great and terrible sometimes is the fact that you just don't know what's going to happen. You don't know how guys are going to fight.
50-45, 50-45, 50-45 is just complete domination.
It would be really stupid for Oliveira just to stay out there and just trade hands with one of the best guys, best boxers. That's
exactly. How can anybody be mad that
Khalil's been going on a tangent all weekend about this point?
How can anybody be mad that this is the way that the fight went?
Yeah.
There's been a lot of criticism online as far as BMF and this, and it should have been a slugger. Anybody who's a fan of fighting knows that this is what Oliveira is good at. This is what the commentators, this is what everybody says. This is what he's known for. Yeah. If he gets on you, you're done for. And so if anybody didn't expect this for the BMF, for the BMF title, then you're watching the wrong sport. You're watching the wrong two guys
100%.
fight. We know that Max is a great boxer. We know that Oliveira is a great grappler. How could you not expect it to go this way?
And
I don't understand. Obviously, people that were fans of Max would have liked to see him be able to box more.
for
but
sure.
when you got the BMF versus the BMF, it's not going to be as one-sided as you think all the time. I don't know. I think that this is a phenomenal fight,
We've
and
talked
Charles did a
about
great
this
job.
plenty of times in your camps. When a fighter, as a smart fighter, and both these are smart fighter, when you find the path to victory, you don't come off that path.
Yeah.
If the easiest path to victory is take a guy down and you're owning him like that, dude, it doesn't matter. At a fight this caliber that now puts you probably back in an actual real title contention fight, you don't go away from it. When you grab somebody and you're like, oh, okay, I got this. You don't go away from it.
Yeah,
So-
that's the biggest misconception, I think, for the MMA fans. Obviously, I'm an MMA fan. I'm a fighters fan. Like, I love fighting. I love watching this. It's like, dude, these guys are getting paid to show up and then paid to win. Their goal is to win. Their goal is not to put on the bloodiest match. Their goal, yes, it's entertainment. I understand that. Everybody keeps talking about the same point, but it's like their job is to win. So if the strategy is more strategical in a way where they don't have to get bloody, they don't have to get violent, but they get a win and it seems a lot more easier for them, why would they not take that? So any fighter who's been on this podcast has explained multiple times the criticism they get is just sometimes unfair. It's it's not needed. Yeah,
I've got a phenomenal idea. How about this? UFC for the BMF title, different rule set. Okay, the guys get paid.
No ground.
The guys get paid.
No ground.
No, but think about this, because you know the pay structure in this business. Look, both guys get paid the same amount. The winner comes out with the title, but both guys walk out of there, let's say $5 million flat. Okay, so now $5 million flat, no takedowns, bare knuckle rules like the BKAFC
Like
or
dirty
what? No,
boxing.
dirty boxing rules.
Stand and bang version,
Right,
of the
like
EA
dirty
Sports.
boxing rules. Those
Then
guys
you get
can
a BMF
clinch, they can elbow, they can dirty box. There's just no takedowns. Okay, just change the rule set for the BMF title. Change the pay.
It's not a bad idea.
Change the pay grade for the BMF title. It's not
make
the
the
UFC.
title. It makes the title worth something more as
It
well.
makes the title worth something more because no matter what, both of those guys are coming home paid. So they know that no matter what, win or lose, I'm walking out of here with $5 million. If I win, I get $5 million and the title of being the baddest motherfucker on the planet. Now I don't have to worry about I've got to win this, otherwise I'm only going to get half my check. And if I lose, I get half my check and I don't get the belt. You know what I mean? So winning becomes more the option versus let me just be titled and crowned as the baddest motherfucker on the planet. That alone, it's like, boom, now we got the fight. Now Charles is like, I'm going home with $5 million. And if I win this fight, then I got the title too. Now I'm sure that fight changes a lot.
I love that idea. They'll never do it, and you're, the thing is too is that you're gonna.
he just dunked on you.
Is
I
the
know.
BMF title more
My
than
balloon
the
just
actual
got popped.
UFC belt though?
No,
Fucking way.
I mean,
So
this belt right
these
here.
guys don't even make that. There's
it's
very
a-
few
That's
guys.
what I was
that are
gonna say.
making
This
that,
belt right here, Hamzat Chimaev, maybe he got paid $5 million, but these guys fighting for that title ain't even getting that.
No.
But that's what I
most
mean.
of them
Like
are.
the money,
Most
the
of them
money. Okay, like maybe it comes down a bit, but like make it a flat rate of guaranteed, like money that'll make you happy.
Yeah.
Just for going out there and putting on a war because that's what the people want to see.
it's-
Because it's the BMF title. It's not. It is kind of like a fun title. It's not the. It's not the one that everybody's
It makes
sacrificing
sense.
their lives over.
It definitely should be a lot.
What?
Hey, real quick before, what is this right here? Come on, what is this? What are we doing here? BMF title, Wild Society, protein
All this
hydration.
talk about the BMF fight this, the BMF fight that, it was boring, whatever. The ultimate BMF just showed up. The Blue Rizzler himself, protein hydration. The ultimate charm can do no wrong. Out at a local Sprouts near you very soon.
I'll
Talk
take
to
a
him,
shot
man.
to
Talk
that.
to him.
This right here is this right here in real life form, and you can get it at Sprouts. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah.
So this is available at every Sprouts.
Next week.
Wow.
I forgot to mention one thing.
Yes.
Arms bigger than King Kong. Let's go. Junior Wild. We out.
Hey, do we shake these before we drink them?
No, you don't.
Yeah, this guy's all time.
Don't shake them before we
So
drink them.
TJ now is so rich he's just rolling around with mascots.
Yeah.
Hey, it must be nice, dude. We're talking about BMF title defenses.
I
and
can't
this
wait
guy's
to
just
get to
walking
that
around
level.
with-
Yeah, I know, right?
Wild Society.
Yeah, just stand right here while we talk. Just don't
hydration.
even move. Just stand right there. All right, so listen, I got a question for you. We saw the White House card. We got two things to talk about before we hop in the cage. We saw the White House card, okay? I mean, Alex Pereira versus Cyril Gane, amazing. Topuria.
I mean, it's a better fight than Jones. Like Jones would have made light
Well,
work.
Jones
of
is
Pereira.
upset, TJ.
I know, but I think the game is actually a better fight, especially for Alex.
You don't want to see John Jones versus Alex Pereira?
I just think he beats him too easy.
Who?
John Jones.
Too easy?
Yeah. He could take him down at will and just play around with him.
No.
Yes.
There's nobody that has disproved that fact yet. And John Jones at heavyweight right now.
I mean, my man's got a point.
Coach.
My man's got a point.
Okay, what about Gaethje versus Topuria?
I think Topuria's gonna walk away with that one.
Topuria is gonna win.
If Gaethje fights like his last fight, he's getting put to sleep.
Okay, and you don't think Ciryl Gane has any chance against Alex?
No, I didn't say that. I think it's a great fight.
So you think he's completely gonna get destroyed?
No, I did not say.
What?
I said the opposite of that. I said it's going to be a good fight.
Okay.
Because it's going to be a
So he
striking
has a
battle.
chance.
Yes,
That's
that's
what
what I
I've been
said.
saying the whole time. Okay, so
What the hell?
O'Malley versus Zahavi. We got one.
I would have liked to see O'Malley versus Sandhagen, man. I think
That's
my
the
God,
fight.
amen.
that's
That's
a
the
drop
fight.
ball right
That's the
there. You
fight.
know, like how they're trying to protect O'Malley. There's no way they would have him fight.
They need him to be a superstar
Sandhagen.
again.
I mean, they
want
probably
him
has
to
too
be
big of a
so
contract.
bad.
You know what I mean? He's probably got a big
He's a
contract.
good fighter. He needs to just
He
get
is
back on the
good.
horse.
He is good, but the fight
think
he
he
should
should
be
be
fighting is
protected.
against Sandhagen.
Who would win that, Sandhagen or
Sandhagen.
O'Malley?
Sandhagen.
Sandhagen would destroy O'Malley?
Yeah. I wouldn't
Wow.
say destroy. I said he'd win.
He'd win. In which way? Double leg
I-
stuff, straight to the ground, rear naked
No,
choke,
He'd
reverse?
beat him on the feet.
Oh,
beat him
wow.
on the feet.
TJ's, he always has really good takes.
Yeah, he has really good takes. I mean,
Okay.
that would be a
Like, that's
more
the miss,
interesting,
yeah.
fun fight
Yeah.
to watch.
What about
especially for O'Malley?
the baddest American fighter of all time, Michael Chandler versus Mauricio Rufy?
That's a tough fight for Chandler.
Really?
Rufy's a sniper.
Uncle
He's a-
Chael says that it's Chandler all day, I think.
I disagree with
No,
that.
Coach?
Have you seen a Chandler fight?
I mean, I'm just telling you what the internet tells me, Coach.
He gonna make it a fight, but he gonna come out with his eyeballs hanging off
Rufy's
his
on
head.
fire now that he has Volk in his
Yeah,
corner,
it's-
I feel like.
It's
Rufy's a different man.
a crazy. That's a Chandler makes every fight fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
and that's what he's there for, and not for lack of trying. And he's gonna go out there and I really,
So he has no chance?
No, I hope everybody's
This
got
guy-
a chance.
No, I'm just asking.
You told me he ain't got a shot.
I'm a Michael Chandler fan.
Leo
I
said
hope
Michael Chandler has no chance.
I
right?
hope he does it. I did
Or
hear
no?
him say that.
now you're gonna throw me under the bus.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying. Does he have a chance? Yes or no?
Everyone has a chance.
That's what I
Yes.
think. I think Chandler is a dog, and he's definitely going to make the fight interesting.
Oh, it's gonna be a
And
great
that's-
fight.
that's
It's
the
gonna
cool
be.
part.
It'll be the funnest
Yeah.
fight on the card.
I agree
until
with
it's
that.
not.
Yeah, exactly.
Until someone loses.
Until
Yeah,
someone
he's
gets
good.
sparked.
And then the American wrestler himself, a prodigy of Sam Calavita's garage, Bo Nickel.
Yes, sir.
What do we think about that?
I don't know. I mean, with all due respect, who's he fighting?
Yeah, that was.
I don't know who that.
I think Kyle Dawkins has been in
Dawkins.
the UFC for a while.
Okay.
Remember, I fought his brother,
Well,
Chris Dawkins.
I think he got cut. I think they both got cut.
Yeah, and then
he fought
he
his
made
way
his
back.
way back
yeah.
to like LFA or something like that.
He won a bunch of.
I mean, I
fights,
like the
came
Bo
back.
Nichols on the card. He's promotable and stuff. He's got a big fan base with all the wrestlers,
Yeah.
but I don't think he should be on the main card.
What about Diego Lopez is fighting Steve Garcia as the featherweight bout?
Is it a belt?
Bout.
A
No.
bout.
Bout.
Okay, yeah.
All right. So overall, what do we think? Scale out of 10, 1 out of 10, UFC White House card.
I'm giving it like a 6.
I'd have to go 6 too.
Really?
Again, I think what everybody saw
Yeah.
is the hype, the talk. You got
Okay.
huge names floating around. You got big things, and these are all great fighters. There's not a single bad fighter on
Got
the
it.
card.
Yeah, exactly.
Got it.
The matchups are a little.
Yeah. All right. We'll see. I think
Tapurio and Gaethje is the one that needs to happen
It's just-
because you have
yeah.
an interim and you have a champion.
they should
but
put Armin on the card.
I just expected to see like a John Jones, a Conor
Yeah.
McGregor.
Th-
Like,
those are the names that
All
I.
right. Well,
was-
speaking of
Hey,
Conor
yeah,
McGregor.
wait, no. Speaking of John Jones, brother, come on the podcast. We got to talk.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
he's got
come
some
on the
stuff to say,
podcast.
too.
Yes,
John Jones
I mean,
has some stuff to say. He's
John
been
Jones,
commenting on our on
right
our
after the announcement. I mean, we saw the tweets from John Jones. You know, there's a
think
lot
they're
of
deleted now.
yeah, there's a lot of just like chaos and unknown going on. It looks right now like John needs somebody to talk to. I'd love to have him here and just hear his side of everything.
Khalil's trying to play therapist right now.
I mean, no, not play therapist, but like I've been the guy to say in the past, like, let's stop talking about John Jones.
Yeah.
When it comes to like
let's
fighting,
give him a platform.
But now, like, come talk to us. Let us know what's
they
going on.
released him, right?
I
That's
heard
what
that
I'm
this
saying.
morning.
Like, there's so much stuff to like uncover because
I-
like release, not release, da da da.
There's
I'd like to hear it
no
straight
way
from
they
John.
released him because he'll walk right over to a certain fight card and
He'll be on
and,
MVP,
and be
Netflix,
the biggest,
yeah.
be the biggest thing ever fighting another big guy. There's
Yeah.
no way that they're releasing him before.
John,
that.
See a
Come
lot
talk
of
to us,
hype
big
right
dog.
here
No
with
way.
Conor McGregor. Very upset. He said he gives me a name. I said yes. He said I've always said yes. That's always been my nature. I see, here, there's a 30 little second from Conor McGregor. Let's see what he has to say.
Maybe if the studio was good enough to have volume.
300 or the fair. They usually put me on UFC 201 or 301. You know, like a double sale thing. That's the White House was gonna hit no matter what. Who the fuck gives a fuck who we put on? And then Will McGregor after the second, so we double our economic take. We can't decide what these men do, you know, and I don't want to. They, you know, I don't doubt them. It's like in this current climate, we're all cattle. Yeah.
He's not lying. He's not lying.
A free range. I'm like Wagyu walking around.
I love it.
Bro, he's a fucking genius.
Does Conor McGregor belong in the White House card? Yes or no?
Yes.
No, are you out of your
Yes.
mind? That's the Wagyu.
He belongs. He
You're
belongs.
like thick beef brisket,
he
and that's
just-
the Wagyu.
From my understanding, he was just saying. I mean, he belongs on his own card. Like the White House card has enough.
It makes sense.
bro.
It's cool.
But
But
He's
like,
the greatest fighter in UFC history to ever. What?
Yeah.
He's the greatest promotion.
Look,
like
but
promoter.
that's what I'm saying. Like he, Conor McGregor.
Time out. You don't think that that's the greatest fighter of all time?
Skill wise, no.
That's the most popular
Yes.
fighter of all time.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I think that. I'm just asking.
Yeah,
He's a great fighter. He's
You're
a
about
great
to
fighter.
no,
I
great
know.
fighter, but
No, I
he
think he's
doesn't-
the best hype man the world's ever seen in the,
100%.
in
He's
the world
a
of mixed martial arts.
genius.
Yeah, he's a
dude.
genius.
He's,
Put it this
every
way.
interview, every
You guys should
soundbite
have
he has,
fought.
all these things. He's
Why didn't you
just a
fight
genius.
McGregor?
It just wasn't presented.
That would have been
I
the
know-
biggest fight ever.
If I would have like stepped up a little bit more in that Ultimate Fighter situation when Garbrandt got in his face, if I would have done something like that, it could have led to that. But
That was
I-
young TJ.
That's
You
just
were
not.
shy.
No, that's not my game. I'm not a confrontational person. I don't know why. I just like I don't do that shit.
How would you have smoked him?
He's a tough fight. He's big, bro. That'd have been a tough fight.
he's a big
Would
boy.
you have?
He's a
Would
big
you have
guy.
won? You think?
I'd believe in myself to get it done. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd
How would
believe
you
in
have
myself.
beat him?
I would have to really threaten the wrestling and the pressure. Like his cardio is iffy, and I'd have to get him to grapple. I'd have to get him to like really start using his strength and wear him out, and get him in the later rounds.
Okay, I got one more thing. I got two more things for you, TJ, because you are a wrestler at heart, but you're also
This is
a
the most ridiculous shit ever.
TJ. You're a
This guy deserved getting to punch. in
What
the
do we
face.
think
Yeah.
about this wrestler now talking about the fact that
That was very unprofessional.
hold on. This guy thinks that if he had the chance now, he'd be able to fight Armin.
This is Instagram promotion for himself. This is all it is. Like he can't say he's a fighter. Like, bro, come
I'm a
on.
strong dude.
Yeah.
I'm a wrestler and I'm a
What?
fighter.
Yeah.
And this is the shit I do. One thing I'll say is that, the way he hit me, it was a cheap shot. And it was
But they were
actually
cheap
not-
shotting each other the whole time.
He deserved it.
That's pretty chippy the whole time.
Yeah.
That was very unprofessional, very uncalled for. And whatever I got to do to get a punch off on this guy, I want to make happen.
What?
You have to wait till he's sleeping and come get him on his bed because you're gonna get
Yeah.
fucking your ass whooped.
Does he even
100%.
stand a chance against Armin?
No.
Not a chance.
Not a chance.
So why are we entertaining this guy? Because they're doing a rematch at
Because
RAS.
he's
That's what
trying
the
to get
world
more
does.
followers.
Yeah.
of course.
This is a social media.
And then TJ, I got one
bullshit.
more thing for you, and Coach, I got something for you as well. One of everybody who watches this podcast knows my favorite fighter of all time, top 3, is literally the man himself, Mirko Cro Cop. Okay, the guy was just unbelievable. In my opinion, he's my top 3 favorite fighter of all time. And he recently did an interview. TJ, I don't know if you saw this.
I haven't.
Okay, so this is with all due respect, I'm just repeating what's here, so I'm not saying anything, obviously. But he recently did an interview and he talks about the biggest scam in the UFC basically is weight cut bullies. And I believe he's talking about weight cutting and weight bullies, and he's specifically talking about, going and cleaning out divisions with that.
Can you read it?
I on je prvak do 66. Kad je sa Jose Aldo imao meč, imao je 66 kg vaga, zavolji vagu. Ali Bond imao 70, a kategorija je 66. I vidiš, taj Aldo, je on, okej, pogodio u prvoj rundi, odmah mu jedna leta ne bitan. Viš da je moj postariji brat, to nisu iste kategorije. Viš da je ovaj ogromna.
He speaks really fast.
Yeah, so they're
It's
doing
sped up.
Yeah, so it's sped up and they're doing interpretation and they're obviously translating it. But what is your opinion? Do you feel like
I feel like cutting weight is a little bit overrated as well too. It's not always an advantage. Yeah, you might think you're this weight bully, but you cut too much weight, it is very hard to get that fluid back on your brain. We've seen how it worked out for me. Like it's cutting too much weight is not good. And I actually think you're going to perform better if you cut a little bit less weight. So he's talking about this, like you're putting yourself at a disadvantage by cutting too much weight.
Got it. And coach, what about you? Do you advise your fighters who are trying to, like, say maybe for example, Merab wants to go get a double belt? Maybe these guys want to be double champs.
I hate the whole weight cutting thing. I can't imagine any other sport in the world where like you're gonna go perform at your highest level and you literally kill yourself for a week straight. Starve yourself, dehydrate yourself.
I was just trying to look like the Dallas Buyers Club. You know what I mean? I was like, damn, I look good, bro.
You did a good chance.
TJ, you look sick when you were cutting.
I wish it didn't have to happen, but it's part of it. It is part of it. I try to keep my guys, everybody, 20 pounds, 25 pounds tops within the range so that you can, you're not cutting more than 10 pounds tops when it comes down to like the end of it. But I just don't know what the fix is on it. Everybody's going to do it and somebody's always going to.
TJ, how much
That's
did you
like when
weigh
I
right
was living under Vegas for like a month doing. I'm just,
you look like it.
You have
You look.
Wait, how much did you weigh right there?
I was
TJ?
on weight right there.
You were on
That
weight.
was the night before weigh-ins. I made all the weight right then. I was like too nervous to have to cut anything in the morning because I hadn't weighed 125 since I was in high school.
That's insane, dude.
So I was on weight.
125.
Yeah, that was the night before weigh-ins right there. I was at like midnight.
That hurts just looking at it.
It
I
was
mean,
stupid.
TJ, you look sick though.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
But let me ask you one more quick question. Before we go in the cage, me and Khalil over the weekend, we're talking a lot about the way Hamzat controls people on the mats.
Yeah.
And he's very dominant. Yeah. And coach, I know you've had a lot of experience with multiple types of fighters. I think that's why you're such a great coach. You have so many different dynamic fighters. You could go from a guy like Merab who jumps around the cage to a guy like Khalil Rountree who has athletics foot and it just is constantly itching. So I feel like the different styles you have to deal with, obviously you have to deal with a lot of preparation with different fighters you're going to fight. Yep. One thing that's been going super viral on the internet right now is head control when fighting up close in the clinch, not in the clinch. And, for me, I watch a lot of boxing content and me and Khalil were watching this over the weekend and it's Triple G basically talking about, how he uses his head and how he kind of moves people around with his head. So I want to know if you have any experience with this and then how important this is and how adaptable it is for MMA.
Absolutely. I have a complete system that I do backwards and forwards on both. When it's totally different in MMA than to boxing. When you're pushed up against a cage and somebody's grinding your head, I've got both ways on how we work, controlling somebody's and how to get them out of control. A lot of simple stuff, but it is an effective tool to annoy somebody, and especially if people don't know how to properly defend or properly attack with it. It is its own thing, and it's something I think we even worked last camp to get a little dirty and nasty with it.
I've watched him use it a little bit. Well, Hamzat Chimaev, that's why I was asking. Obviously, you guys have some probably prior practice with it because it seems like you're able to really control somebody when you do that.
Yeah, there's a lot of different little tricky things to it. Like I said, boxing's different because you have the ropes and you're out in the open a lot more, and they're going to break you pretty quick.
Got it.
MMA, you get stuck there. If you get somebody and you put your head in there and they don't move, and you're like, oh, okay. There's ways to really control somebody's body against the fence using the head.
I love this drill, by the way.
Yeah.
I watched this video probably 100 times in a row. I love how this guy's hitting pads. It actually goes back into what TJ was saying about being comfortable fighting with your hands down. This is a lot of like how you fight with your hands down, but in range still. Like, so this drill that this guy's doing.
And this is one of the greatest boxers probably of all time.
Like I said,
watching
100 times I've watched this video over and over
and
again.
TJ, I want to break this down with you in the cage, but basically generating the power, it's very unorthodox to what most people would say. You're not really planting your feet. Is this much? Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Is this much more than what people are looking at when it comes to the footwork?
Yeah, he's doing such a good job being in range, out of range, in range, out of range, being able to pull with his hands down, using his feet right out of range. Like he lands that hook, he checks hook, he's out. Right now, he's out of range right now. Boom, he's in, he's out. So it's about coming in and out of range and being out of danger, being able to land those check hooks as the guy comes in, being able to like slip it. Your eyes are,
The biggest thing is, and you won't be able to see from the naked eye too much, he's connected to the ground when he hits.
Exactly.
It's not just his feet and his hands and the ground are timing.
Same time.
Boom.
Yeah.
It's the old WWE wrestler thing when you hit somebody like that and you make it look like it's the same concept.
Like Pacquiao. Pacquiao was
you
really
are
good at it.
making contact at the ground at the right time and the hand to the face at the right time. Yeah. And that's how you connect with power.
So we're going to jump in the cage for 5 minutes, and I'm going to kind of have TJ show this drill a little bit and show how this is done. I want Khalil and Coach to kind of show me the
athletic
work
tie and the
kinda
head
like,
work.
Yeah, and kind of like how you move around your chin and how you can kind of control someone's body. And then the last thing is when you're in that like body lock, when you're on the floor, kind of like you talked about with Charles and Max, how do you get out of that thing? Cool. I know, like you said, it's easier said than done, but obviously that's the whole point of this, just showing a lot of the technique.
Yep.
Thank you guys for watching. Now we're going to hop in the cage. We got Coach John Wood. We have TJ Dillashaw, Khalil Rountree. We're going to run through a few things that we talked about on the pod and kind of show you guys in depth. First, I think, let's just start from the top. Coach, you and Khalil worked a lot on this, controlling the head with your chin and vice versa, and kind of getting the body to go where you want to go. We saw some of that breakdown in the video. Can you guys kind of show me what you were talking about?
Yeah, have John show us right here. John can explain it way more than I. He's the one that taught it to me.
So there's a couple things. Do you want me to do it?
Yeah, you do it. Yeah.
So if we're in control, obviously the basic stance when we get in the fence is controlling the jaw line. I don't want to be too far under, too far over to the side, as I just get up in here and control. And that's my basic go, is when I'm controlling, I have my C-grip in my arm so that he can't move. If I'm going here, he can get rid of this hand pretty easy, so I always come inside close. If I can, I'll get that grip on the hip. If I can't get a body lock, which most guys aren't gonna let us, he's gonna be fighting me back. I'm gonna put my head right into here, okay? That's a standard go. If he starts turning and moving and switching, then I start switching and turning and moving too. Keeping my head in the same position pretty much the whole time, making it hard to go. That's the standard easy gut. Now, when we have somebody who's doing that to us, a couple things I like to do is when we get a guy, if Khalil's doing this to an opponent and he stays here, then we're just gonna stay here. If he can't figure this puzzle out, then great. But one thing I do all the time is if I can start to control, if his head is a little bit further in here, I'll drop my chin down into his face and start using my chin to pry his eyeball, and he'll move, okay? It's not exactly illegal, but I'm getting my, especially if I got some whiskers in there, I'm gonna get my chin down and start to move his face here from this position. If he's too far under here, then I'll drop it to the back and I start to use my head here, pushing, breaking his neck. And if his hands are on that fence, I'm gonna grind those on the fence too, and I'm starting to turn.
That doesn't feel good at all.
So if I'm allowing him to control my head here, I can get stuck and I can go left to right, but he's gonna be in a very uncomfortable position. And it's not gonna be long before he starts kneeing the shit out of me and punching me. So one thing is just relieving this head, and I'm gonna drop my chin in and peel it off. And I'm gonna drop my chin over, and I'm gonna use it to break his neck. And as I do these things, I'm going to move my body. So as I'm peeling this off, I start to get him to think about that, and I start to twist and move my way out of the cage. If he's heavy on the inside, I'll drop to the back here, just moving here, and he's gonna follow me. And if I move my chin this way and he follows me back this way, okay, it's even better either way. I just move around where he's not. Put the pressure on his head, start to make him feel here, and drag his ass to the cage, and then I start doing it to him. Okay? Real simple stuff.
Yeah, it's very, going to what Bear's video was saying with Gennady and the boxing, he was saying, yeah, when he's dirty boxing, he likes to keep his chin inside. So the fighting the chin and using the head, that's a whole nother game of MMA that people can start to implement, because if I'm here and John's not necessarily using his head, then I'm controlling him. Or even if I'm here, it's a whole different fight. It's a head fight now. So if John's pushing me up here, I'm trying to beat him to get back to his, sorry.
Especially when you got a sandpaper head up.
Yeah, so I'm kind of trying to beat him too, along with moving my hips. So yeah, head fighting, Bear, to your question, is a whole nother game of MMA.
TJ, you've been so good throughout your career of having the best angles, always moving. When someone's trying to put you in a clinch, what's the best way you think to move out of it and kind of control the body better? Is there tips and tricks to that?
When I'm against the cage?
Yeah, when you're against the cage.
It all gonna depend on their positioning, right? So first thing, he gets me against the cage however he wants, right? So he's here, right? He's already given me an out right now. The out that I see is to my right, okay? Because all his body weight's over here on the left. He's giving me out, right? So my arm's gonna come over. I'm gonna grab his face.
Really?
Yeah, I'm gonna grab his face. I'm gonna do whatever I can. And all I gotta do is pull this out, steering wheel it, and I'm here. Right? So all gonna go off of like where he's at.
Yeah.
If he's over here more, right? So look, I can't get out this way because of the underhook. I can't get out this way because of his body position. You should have this foot forward, right? This one back. That's how he should be, right here.
Understood.
That's where I'm gonna be pinned, right?
Yeah.
And he's got my wrist here. I got a hand fight first. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drop my right shoulder, right? Because he's got me pinned up. Okay, even if he had head position too. He's here, right? So I gotta roll my head off. I gotta drop my hand down here, right? The reason why I can do this is because I have the cage, right? Because he try to take my back. I'm out, right? So I drop this arm down, and then I'm gonna dig it back up, and now I'm gonna have my shoulder in his sternum, rather than his shoulder in my sternum, right? If he's here, I gotta give the position up, get my shoulder lower, and now I can stand him up, and now I can find my out and circle and reverse the position.
That's money.
I love that.
So it's depending on what side he's on, what grips he has. The guys that put the wrong, a lot of guys do this, they'll come in like kind of going this like single leg, just gonna have this foot forward, I'm out every time. If they come in with this foot forward, I'm out. Right? If they're trying to go for the single leg, whatever they're going for, I can come out here. I'm gonna come out this way every time.
Got it.
Right? So this one's a better foot forward. Now you're gonna have to be a little bit more of a fight. Now it's like digging in, and just trying to get my shoulder in here nice and tight. Now I can fight this underhook. Now I can stand up and I can get a better position.
Got it. Since we're on the
I can feel the difference.
kind of controlling the body and the flow, we talked about Bivol, one of the greatest boxers in the world, and kind of the way he's able to flow and the way he's able to kind of almost bounce and float like when he throws. You know, contrary to most coaches where people want you flatted in the pocket, even like a traditional Mexican style where they're just banging right in front of you. Can you kind of walk us through how you feel he's able to do that at such a high level?
Same kind of way that I wasn't one that would get in the pocket and stay in the pocket. I was kind of in danger, out of danger is how I liked to fight. I never liked super long combos. For me, it was like 2-3 punch combos split up by offbeats, right? And so getting a guy to bite on my jab, what he's always doing well is he's got this bounce, right? I can come in the distance and I can pop right back out of it, right? So he's always got this spring here. And what he's doing is he's hitting that jab. And if the guy decides to commit, when you see him popping, right? So it's a jab, he's popping, he's out of distance, right? Instead of jabbing and staying here, now we got to catch, we got to counter, we got to box, right? I'm going to stay at this distance here. Now if we commit, I can throw my right hand.
What about generating the power every time you're stepping? It seems like you're not kind of rooted. Where do you get your power from?
My punches are landing when my feet land at the same time.
Something what you talked about.
I don't want to be in the air when my jab lands, right? Like my front foot lands when my jab lands. I'm out, my right foot just hit the ground, douche for the right hand, right? And there's a lot of different ways you can use this pop, but he's popping in and out. You can say a guy commits this time, right? Right, he's got his check hooks off it as well too. He's got a distance. He's hitting check hooks. He's in danger, out of danger. He's playing this real fine line, in and out. Same reason why I like to get outside the shoulders, like if I'm here, right, popping out the stance. I'm like moving my feet, and then when he turns and finds me, right, say I'm southpaw, I come here, he turns and finds me. There's my power.
I worked this last time.
Yeah, that's kind of Coach. So the last time Coach was here, he kind of put me through some drills, and one of the best things that I thought that I learned from you, kind of similar to, I've seen a lot of high-level MMA coaches, like say for example Jason Perillo, one of the best MMA coaches in the world as well. You guys are so good at making the fighter find the pad, find the work, where it's like you're not just stationed hitting pads. You're like constantly looking, you're constantly finding a better angle. What goes into that? Are you teaching footwork, you're teaching movement, you're trying to put together combinations? Kind of want to walk us through that real quick?
Yeah, everything. Just exactly what TJ was saying is you have to learn how to connect at the same time. Everything has to be all happening. Your feet, your hands, your hips, your shoulders, all moving at the same time, connecting to the ground. I'm not going to stand here with Khalil and just trade punches. That ain't going to be good for me. Hey, and even for him, I have him still always moving. When we're touching, he's always and connecting. When he goes exactly what you guys just did here. And the whole thing is realistic. Anybody can make anybody look good on pads if we're standing here and just cracking and I'm catching your punch, okay? But it's about having to come find it. So even though he's still in and out, he's still finding me as we're moving, and then we're finding a big power on the next bang here and getting in. But you have to be able to do it on the move, or it just doesn't become realistic. I see guys ripping pads all the time. And then when guys go out there to fight, they can't find the target. You know, that's something we always work on, is moving. If the coach isn't sweating as much as you are and dying at the end of it and going, oh shit, I just got my ass kicked, it's probably not the most effective and realistic kind of pad work.
Yeah. And since we're talking about work, something I've watched you do this whole week with Hamza is you guys are doing a lot of control on the floor, a lot of grappling, a lot of movement, kind of getting in and out of the clinch, getting out of the guard, kind of like going to the top. But the way you're doing it and the way he's doing it, it's kind of like this hybrid between wrestling, grappling, jiu-jitsu, but it's so technique based, like everything they're doing in segments, in drills. And one thing you talked about on the podcast was kind of getting out of that body lock. One thing you wish you would have seen Max Holloway do. You want to kind of walk us through that?
Yeah, I guess I can body lock,
body
triangle.
triangle.
Yeah, I can body triangle TJ, and he can show you what he was saying.
Oh, that's amazing. And then you can show it up here too, how he was able to put him in body lock and grab him.
Yeah, so first things first, he did a great job fighting hands, right? That's what you got to do first. I can't come down here to fight the legs. I'm going to get choked, right? So he's fighting hands well. He's getting his chin here, okay? Now, what Oliveira does do a good job of is he hooks this leg, right? That's what's going to keep me from doing it. So what I got to be focused on, I got to come down, I got to come around, right? Now, if I can get, even if he's got it there, if I can get my knee here, now I can push this up. See how it takes his body triangle away?
Yeah.
Now, the body triangle's not as tight. Now I just like jolt my body hard, get my back flat here. Now it's going to be a race and a scram, right? He's going to try to get on mount, and I'm going to try to get out, right? Now we're here. So I know it's hard to do.
I've never seen that one. Yeah, so isolating that I have not. You're isolating this leg, so is
like a lot of people think like, oh, get the body triangle down, which is good, right? Getting this down. Let's work on it. Then I can step over it. I'm not going to do it harder, but I hurt his ankle by pushing back this way.
Yeah.
But same kind of thing. I want to get this foot out. See how I have it hooked?
Yeah.
That's going to stop that. I get it out, and now I can fight better this way. Now I can come here. But I personally like body triangle on the top. Right? Again, I'm focusing on my hands. I'm up here. I'm going to stay. He's trying to choke me, all this stuff. I'm going to use my legs to do it, right? I'm going to come here. So I push that up here. Now I can turn my body, right? And I can even grab a little bit here. Now it's here.
Wow, that's good, dude.
Now I got to race from him to get on top here. So you got to use.
That's a good way to create the space. Yeah.
You got to be able to use your legs at the same time you're fighting hands.
And why do you think that Charles was so successful once he got the body lock to get Max to the floor?
Because he's got the body lock. Well, he just seems like a lot more powerful.
Talk about one of the best guys in the world. There's something to be said for when you're just the best at something, you're just better than everybody else. He knows all the little tricks, all the little things, how to keep people away from getting out of it.
And I was impressed with his body lock, right? He's a jiu-jitsu guy. He's not like a wrestler, and he did really well in that body lock. He was like stepping over, he was elevating with his bottom knee and getting him off the ground to throw him.
Hips locked in.
Yeah. Like he would get here, and like Khalil's a lot bigger guy than me, right? It's gonna be hard for me to lift him, but he's using this here to help get his feet off the ground to be able to throw him, right? So not only lifting here, but using his leg, now I can turn and toss him.
And Khalil's twice your size. That's not bad. So you're getting leverage by basically scooping that leg up.
In my
With the
hips,
tightness, tightness, he wouldn't be able to do the same thing if his hips were all the way out
like
there.
my butt's here, I can't
There's no way he's lifting me
I'm
up.
getting my hips underneath him.
Hips have to go underneath.
Hips come up, and my knee helps. And then gets to see how it gets his. All I gotta get his toe off the ground, and then I'm gonna guide him with his knee to throw his feet out to the side to throw him.
Yeah, balance in the body, just positioning the body is just such another level in fighting. It just is everything. You've been so vocal about that. All right, so the last thing we kind of want to go through, Coach was able to kind of show us a lot of movement, a lot of control with the chin and the head against the cage. TJ really kind of dissecting how to get out of that triangle, how to really move the body lock onto the floor, and then what to do once you're there, when you're in that body triangle. And then for you, I know one thing you were very vocal about was the way Rob Font was standing and kind of the way you always have this itch with your foot and the misconception to what you got going on. So maybe you could kind of break that down.
Yeah, so TJ brought up in the pod that Rob Font had this very like forward stance, right? To avoid the takedown. So he was so worried about the takedown that he's like limiting his movement, limiting the jab and everything like that. In my opinion, it's worse because your hips are already back. So once the guy is past your arms, if he throws a big punch or something, once he passed the arms or grabbed the leg, you can't put your hips back anymore because your hips are already back. So all he's got to do is pass that line and boom, or boom, it's single leg and now you're on the back foot. So one thing that I learned in Muay Thai was like a lot of hips are always forward and like they fight like this, right? Because they can check. Because here it's hard to check if you're so hips are forward a lot in Muay Thai and striking. But then when I came and John added to my game, I can still have my hip forward because if TJ were to shoot in, if my hip's forward, then at least I have room to sprawl. If my hip's already back like this, all he has to do is cross my and then I'm done. So the sweet spot that John and I have come up with is like I still get to have my hip forward, but I'm dropped a bit. So it's kind of a little crunch. So I'm like this. I'm still able to keep my guard here, but if TJ does shoot it, I can bump first and then move because I have more of this. So if I feel like I'm keeping him away and then he finally gets in, boom, I can at least meet him there with it and I can still.
That feels like a punch, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's something I like. Taller guys too, that I that tight stance too. Single legs are hard to finish with no shoes on, right?
Yeah.
If he just like lets me pick this leg up because it's light, he still can turn his hip, he can knee shield. It's really hard for me to finish this, right? Because there's so much space.
Yeah.
But when he's heavy, then I can get in deep, boom, and now I can like go.
And that's the thing I think a lot of people mess up is that everybody grabs that single leg and lifts. If you're already down and the weight's in, just take it down. Run through, it's over. It's over. You know?
So not such a good idea for Rob to kind of embrace this space. Yeah, maybe it cut the time between when Rosas was going to shoot the takedown, but it didn't prevent the takedown.
The biggest thing
it actually kind of made it easier.
You're bracing, we talk about this all the time, you're bracing for impact. So your first defense is, oh, I'm letting him hear it, when you should be moving and sticking and touching. And he shouldn't even, your first line of defense is your feet and your jab. Don't even let a guy get there. But if you're sitting here, you're bracing for that, oh God, you're going to concede it eventually.
Eventually. And if I'm a wrestler, especially now, like what I've been learning, training with Hamzat and these guys, if I'm shooting, I'm fucking shooting. And if I get punched on the way in, so be it, but I'm going to commit to the shot. So if I've got a guy who's, if he's got Rob's stance and he's heavy on it, if I'm going to shoot, I'm going to shoot. But his hips are already back, so he's kind of already helping me. Versus if he's on his toes and I'm going to shoot, I'm like, wah, and he's already gone. You know what I mean? So I think that's kind of
TJ, any keys, any secrets you learned over the years on really finding the cleanest entry on your shot when someone is kind of standing in that position?
In what position?
With his hips back and hips forward?
Well, I mean, I've never really had someone stand like Font, but just to get positions in general, you got to set your takedowns up with your hands, right? And making them look the same, right? So maybe I'm even doing that pop drill where I'm going jab and then I'm hitting that cross. Off that cross, I want him to really believe in it, which is going to set up my high crotch, right? So getting him to have to cover. Maybe it's like I showed that back trip, right?
Yeah.
The reason why, because it looks like maybe I'll hit this switch cross hook. Boom, I'm hitting kicks, right? Next time he's in a cover, right? So it's your boom, boom, getting that back trip, right? So you got to get him to believe in your strikes to get a takedown. Like wrestling and MMA wrestling are two completely different sports. You all right?
Yeah.
Just getting him to believe in your hands. You got to, and they all got to look the same. Like my cross, if I'm going that high crotch, I got to be throwing this cross real. Right, I'm not gonna like, and then shoot. It's too easy to see.
Yeah, like fully commit to
commit this, and then I'm boom hitting my high crotch, right? Yeah. Or maybe I'm hitting what we call a two body. I'm coming jab, cross, and land this hook. Right, get him to cover on that. I know his hands up here. Guess what? Shot here.
Yeah. So you've always been real big on if you're gonna throw it to kind of either get them to believe you're gonna do it or not. You still got to throw it. Like you got to commit to those.
Number one pet peeve he just touched on is I'll be coaching somebody, cornering somebody, and the 1-2 is working. The guy's blocking big. Boom, boom. Okay. Now let's go follow it up with a kick or a punch, and then the guy will kind of just half-ass it, and then it doesn't work. And you're like, oh, fuck, it didn't work. Well, you didn't do it the same way.
Yeah.
You've got to commit. If I hit you here like this, I've got to, as I'm coming in, he's got to believe it. He's got to go.
It's got to read the same. It's got to feel the same.
Fighters always change it up. No. Do the same thing you did. Just add on to it.
Yeah. Big. Listen, one of the greatest coaches in the world right now. This guy's doing it bigger than anybody. One of the greatest minds the MMA world has ever seen. I'm talking MMA royalty right there. Everybody knows that. And this guy, for sure the next.
Not the greatest at anything.
For sure the next light heavyweight champion of the world. Amazing camp. If you guys are trying to see the behind the scenes with him, Hamzat Chimaev, Arman Sarukian, and the rest of the team here at the Jaxxon Media House, make sure you go to the Jaxxon Behind the Brand show. And if you guys want to see all the recaps, the Jaxxon podcast will be covering all the UFCs this year. So we'll really be trying to break down the UFCs and then coming in the cage with the mind of the Jaxxon podcast right there, TJ Dillashaw. Thank you guys for watching. We're out.